What is going on, guys? Today, I've got some interesting things to share, but first, I do want to tell everybody to slide on over to my website, www.dirtywordsmith.com. Subscribe so that you can get updates on my upcoming events, book signings, things of that nature. Okay? Ting, 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 ting. All of that being said, good things are coming, so stay tuned. I'm really excited to share those things with you as they come to full fruition. But we are going to talk about something really interesting today. Now, as an African American individual in the United States of America, I am, unfortunately, very familiar with racism. Okay? We don't have to get into the history. You know. You and I both know. And being in my 30s means that you have to learn how to maintain your peace and your happiness and not make it a part of your identity. So it is not something that I intend to harp on, but that doesn't mean that I will ignore certain things that have taken place that would be different if the color of my skin was different. Just shedding light on it in certain circumstances, using my platform to shed light on it, I can only hope that it will lead to people being a little bit more conscious of their actions. That being said, white privilege has always been something that has been widely discussed. And I don't feel that I discuss it frequently on my channel because I try to keep my channel light, with the exception of my podcast, where I talk about a lot more serious events or even just expand upon some of my stories in a more serious fashion. With that being said, working in nursing, I have experienced on numerous occasions a patient saying that they don't want me caring for them specifically because of the color of my skin, or they'll say something else and I'll know that it has to do with the color of my skin. For example, picking up this shift, I worked at this facility. It was the floor nursing. So I had a group of patients, 4 patients that I'd be taking care of for the night. And the nurse that was in before me, she was Caucasian. And of course, we walk in together to do report at the bedside. And this patient immediately says, "I'm sorry, are you leaving?" to the nurse that was there before me. And the nurse politely says, "Yes, it's the end of the shift and Ashley's going to be taking over." And she was like, "No offense, Ashley, but you look incredibly young. I don't know that I trust you to care for me appropriately." Mind you, she was in here for something incredibly minimal. Incredibly minimal. And yes, I can understand that some people do have a right to be specific about their care, but I'm not stupid. Okay? I have a mature face. I don't believe I have ever looked incredible. I feel like as a 5-year-old, I had a grandma's face. I always had a mature face. I feel like I always looked, if not my age, like I have kids, like I'm taking care of a full family, like I don't. Please, I love all of you. This is not me fishing for compliments. I don't believe that I look that young. Let's be for real. Furthermore, the nurse that was caring for her before me was a new grad nurse, very small. She looked like a 12-year-old. I looked like I could be her mother. Do you understand where I'm going with this? I did not argue with baby girl. I said, "Not a problem. I completely respect it. I totally understand. I'm not arguing." Like I said, when you've dealt with this for as long as you have, you learn to do certain things to make sure that it doesn't become a part of your identity. You protect your peace. I'm not arguing with you, baby girl. You've been on this earth for a very long time. You have your mind made up. I'm going to go ahead and step out and we'll see who else can come in here and care for you. Fast forward, because I don't want this to be a story time video. I have a point here. The nurse that did end up caring for her, who was my age, just didn't look like me. They could not get along, not for the life of me. It was just, "Are you sure this is correct? Do you know this? Da 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 da." I'm protecting my peace. I'm taking care of the other patients that have no problem with the color of my skin. I'm saying all of this to say that I had quite a strange experience in my home. One of our neighbors took it upon themselves, and it's in my shorts. My shorts story time. There's a much shorter version of this story, but essentially, I'm in bed taking a nap. My window looks out into the backyard. I don't see anything because I'm taking a nap, but I hear everything clearly because the window is right to the backyard, and I hear the dogs start going crazy. Initially, though, I'm hearing the barking, but because I'm asleep, the barking is taking place in my dreams. Like I'm not in the stage of sleep where I can differentiate that that barking is real and everything else in the dream is fake. Well, the dream. And then I hear my husband's like loud booming voice. My husband doesn't raise his voice very often unless he's being childish, which is frequent. And you'll see that when we post our podcast. Okay, we'll post little snippets and then the full episode will be on my Patreon. Anyways, I hear him yell, "Yo, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, you can't do that." And so he immediately is like, "You got to leave. You got to go and shut the door behind you. Don't let the dogs out." And they're going back and forth, not like aggressively, but like the neighbor just wasn't understanding what the big deal was. Like, why can't I enter your property or any component of your property without your permission? I was incredibly confused because in order for you to enter the backyard, you still have to go through two gates. Those two gates indicate that this area is not open to the public. It is attached to the home that belongs to us. So I was like, "Sir, uh, I would love to say with all due respect, but there's a severe lack of respect here because of what's taken place. How would you have felt if we just rolled up in your backyard?" He's like, "I'm just looking for something." I don't understand how that's a justification. You had to put effort into opening up our gates. You had to put effort into removing the latch that indicates this is closed. You had to push past a number of things. There's cars in the driveway. We're home. You could have knocked on the door and asked permission. We're cordial. We're not at all friends. We don't invite one another over. We're not like, "What are you doing this weekend? How's it going?" We don't have one another's phone number. It's a good morning. It's a polite thing, not at all a relationship. Because of how cordial and peaceful we are, I feel like that's an indication that you could have knocked on the door and been like, "Look, we may have flung something over into your backyard. I don't know for sure. I don't want to go back there snooping around and have you getting the impression that I'm trying to do something I should not be doing," because that's what people do. They get the impression that when you are in the space that doesn't belong to you, but belongs to them, you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing, especially when you're doing it without their permission. Does that make sense? So I could not help but point that out. Like, if the tables were turned and you and I looked like one another, things would not have ended as peacefully for me as it's going to end for you. And I keep wanting to stress this. I don't know if y'all can hear my cat snoring. I keep wanting to stress this. I will not be identified by the negative components that are associated with being an African American because I'm pleased with being an African American. There are benefits, and I will bask in those benefits. I will not be defined by what everybody else, all the other races who don't like this race, is trying to do to redefine this. I'm not giving into it. I'm not going to turn into an angry Black woman. I'm not about to start beating the shit. That's not the life that I lead. But I'm also not about to be like, "Oh, don't worry about it." No, 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 no. This is a fair warning. This property doesn't belong to you. We are not sharing backyards. There are not fenceless backyards running down the back of everybody's houses, open for everybody to share. This isn't a townhouse with an open back space. This is a private property with gates and fences to further indicate that. There's no space for you to misunderstand that you didn't have the permission to do that. So yes, a few choice words were used to describe the lack of appreciation and appropriateness in this circumstance. One of them being, if the tables were turned, sir, you would not respond the same. This is inappropriate. This is disrespectful. The next time you do this, law enforcement's going to get involved. We may not get back here in time to stop our dogs from attacking you. You don't just enter the, what if our dogs were trained to do that? What if our dogs were trained to do that? Everybody's okay. All is well. We're all okay. I apologize about the glare on my glasses for the majority of this video. I encourage everybody to go on over to my website, www.dirtywordsmith.com, my Patreon. The links are all below. Stay tuned for updates on Shadow of a Doubt and Epstein Street. Tomorrow is Sunday. I'm hoping to have something up by Monday at the latest for those two stories. And I'm hoping that by midweek we have something like the full episode up for Blake and I's new podcast. Thanks, guys.
I live for the cringe.
Yes, and you create the cringe.
And the chaos.
Bruh. No,
I love it.
No, I don't think you love the chaos. I think you run from the chaos.
Chaos in like a non-serious element.
No, I don't even feel... You don't like chaos in any capacity. I can't even... When it comes to like holiday time, like Christmas shopping time, and
that's chaos.
Bruh, you don't love it at all.
Yeah, no, that's not the chaos I love. That's because you take that shit serious.
What you mean?
See? Case in point.
Yeah, okay. And I take it serious, and every single year on Christmas, you absolutely love your Christmas gifts. What if I didn't take it serious?
Who said I love my Christmas gifts?
Boy.